What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're talking about some 2024 designer releases that, according to the feedback I see on the internet, pretty unpopular. People seem to not like them. There are still some people that do enjoy them because it's all subjective and everybody has different taste and reactions and so on. But these are the main four I've seen that are getting the smoke in 2024. And while I have some form of appreciation for all of them, I don't think not one of them is a bad fragrance. It's just a taste-driven thing where, some of these I do agree. Probably the worst designer releases of the year, but that doesn't make them a bad fragrance. It just means there's a lot of things that I find better. So we're going to kind of dive into each of these four and tell you what I like about them and see, discuss some of the things I see that are said negatively about them. And we'll have a little bit of rebuttal. So let's talk about it. Stay tuned. Starting with one that's kind of been difficult for me to get down with, but mainly because I haven't had the time to spend with it, because it is a terrible summer fragrance. It is K EDP Intense from Dolce & Gabbana. This one's weird. It's a kind of green, vegetal, earthy, bitter fig leather combo. It's a little strange up top. It does maintain K's DNA. I get that sweet geranium, juniper smell. I get a lot of K's DNA just intensified, like it's named, right? And as it dries, it definitely gets better. But it's been a little while since I've put it on skin because it's just been so hot and humid, which is a terrible climate setting for this particular fragrance. It is on the heavier, darker, earthy side of things. So I won't really be able to spend a lot more time with it for another, I guess month to month and a half before it really starts to cool down to the point to where I would say, all right, ideal to start wearing this. I think, 80 degrees and lower, and I think 80 degrees being the peak, outdoors, of course, is, the temperature to wear this in. I think obviously cooler weather, milder weather is where it's going to have its best opportunity to flourish. But again, the use of fig here I find to be on the slightly bitter side, and this earthy accord is this leather accord, but I feel like they used earthy tones to bring out and create this leather accord. Again, I got this dirty, earthy green smell with a bitter fig, and still has a lot of the aromatics and freshness of the EDT and especially the EDP. It definitely ties pretty closely to the EDP's profile, just with these odd earthy nuances. So I could see it being quite polarizing to where some people are like, wow, this is a terrible release. I thought EDT and EDP were bad. The Intense is god-awful. I've seen stuff like that because a lot of people really don't like the EDT. I think the EDT is a very nice, generic fragrance. Nothing special, but very nice, powdery, fresh. I think it smells fine. The EDP, superior to the Eau de Toilette. I've never had anything against the K line. This one's just an odd duck. It's an odd duck. So do I think it's bad? Yes and no. Mainly because I have to ride the line and sit on the fence on this one because I haven't put enough time in with it to really decide one way or the other. Is it that bad, or do I find it to be better than others do? So again, I'm kind of riding the fence on this one. So I figured the teeter-totter of the four is the one we would start with. Definitely comment down below what your thoughts on K EDP Intense are, because mine, a bit indifferent at the moment. Now here's one that the biggest complaint, performance. Spicebomb Dark Leather. Oh, the hopes were high for this one, especially from me. And I do think it smells really good, but it does have lackluster performance. I don't think it's just an olfactive fatigue type of thing. I don't only think it's skin chemistry, because the majority are experiencing this, including myself. So I do think it's a weaker, more subtle, intimate setting type of fragrance. Now the profile smells really good. The problem is this is not what should have followed Infrared EDP, in my opinion, because that was such a home run that this was destined to fail. Spicebomb Dark Leather was destined to fail unless it paralleled or somehow improved upon the leather accord, the dark, smoky, resinous, spicy leather fragrance that we got in the previous release. I thought this was a bad idea because I really believe the next 3 releases were going to be something along the lines of Spicebomb Parfum, Spicebomb Elixir, and or a blue Spicebomb of some sort. Viktor and Rolf, I still need my blue Spicebomb. And I do think those 3 are inevitably coming at some point. I personally, if I was involved in this, which I am not, would have gone the Parfum or the Elixir route to kind of, yeah, it falls into the trend a bit, but you know, how many of you that like the original Spicebomb would like to see what a Spicebomb Elixir or a Spicebomb Parfum would be? And I do think at some point we will get that. And I think that would have been better slotted here, whereas they could still come out with this one day, just not immediately following a fragrance that offers a lot of the same accords and did it far better. That's the biggest problem here. I think it was a timing issue. Of course, people want more performance. Yes, they definitely should have given it more performance because it is an eau de parfum. Is there some olfactive fatigue issues? I'm sure there is, but it seems to be most people are experiencing this. I've yet to see a comment from somebody saying, I don't know what everybody's talking about. I get 9 hours out of this fragrance, and I still get nice whiffs of it at the 10-hour mark. I haven't seen none of that type of stuff anywhere on my own social platforms or anywhere else that I've seen anybody talk about this. So the majority seem to be experiencing pretty much the same thing with weaker performance. I'm looking at around 4-ish hours, 4 to 5 hours, with about maybe an hour's projection if I'm lucky. It is an intimate setting fragrance, great for a nightcap when it's just you and your lady, great for a candlelit close quarters type of dinner. It has a use. It definitely has a use. But I believe if the performance was better, let's say most people were getting anywhere from 6 to 8 hours out of it, maybe it had a little bit more reach and presence, it wouldn't get criticized the way it does, because it does smell good. It's a very smoky, leathery fragrance with a soft hit of spice. It's not over-the-top spicy. I think its biggest problem was following up what it did. If this came out 2 or 3 Spicebomb flankers later and performed a little bit better, I think it would be better received. So I'm with a lot of people on this one. The complaint is the complaint across the board, and Viktor and Rolf will rebound. I have faith in them. This is the first time they kind of came close to disappointing me personally with this line, and I still don't think it's a disappointment in my wardrobe personally, but I 100% see where people are coming from, and I agree. They could have did better. Spicebomb Dark Leather. Now with this next one, you know, I didn't give it any kind of special rating. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Better than good, because I don't think it's an average fragrance, but I do think it's the weakest option as far as enjoyment of the Y line. This is Yves Saint Laurent's Y Elixir. I know a lot of people are mixed on this one because I've seen some praise for this one, but I've seen more negative because, and here's where I kind of side with the negative a bit more. This 60 ml was a $180 retail. From discounters, I paid $125. I still think I paid too much. Sure, it performs fine. The problem is the expectation was a superior fragrance to the rest of the line. A, the elixirs are usually highlights in the line. That's kind of been the trend. B, they advertised frankincense and oud. I don't really get much oud. The oud I do get is very, very synthetic, slightly sweet, like Boss Bottled oud type of oud. Like I can get a similar oud experience out of a $50 Boss Bottled flanker. Not cool. Still smells good, but for the money, not cool. I could just do that, and it's more Boss Bottles DNA than Y's DNA. Because this does have that apple fruitiness, YEDP through and through with that synthetic oud that I find in Boss Bottled oud. And I don't really get much incense. And I love frankincense. I love olibanum. I love guaiac wood. I love birch. I love the smoky nuances, smoky leathers and tobaccos. Give me all the smoke. Like the Street Profits, we want the smoke. I want the smoke. I don't get no smoke out of this. Barely. Faint. Hide in the backdrop. Disappointed. Smoky. Why? That sounded great to me. So that's where I'm a little disappointed, because it smells like YEDP with a little bit of that synthetic oud. It's that simple to me, and I like YEDP, and this is not a bad fragrance. I do think it's better than good, but I don't think it's their best foot forward. I was less impressed first impression on this than YEDP Intense, the previous release, which grew on me greatly. I do think that's a great fragrance. It's probably their best everyday wear, signature scent worthy option because it's more of a woody aromatic, less on the sweetness. It's more well-rounded overall. It's not as awe-inspiring as some of the others, which none of them really are, but trying to find the right words here, versus the rest. But this one, I feel like the bar was set and it missed it. I think it missed its mark on where it needed to go for the price and the ingredients that they listed versus what it delivered on with the way it smells. Again, it does not smell bad. This fragrance does smell good. I have worn it. I'll wear it again in the future. It's just not my first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice even in its own line of flankers. But it does smell good. It's just, it didn't deliver the way I thought it should. So honestly, of the four we're talking about in this video, this is the one that disappointed me the most because this is the one I had the most expectation for because I thought a Y Elixir, man, they're finally about to drop one that's going to top the Parfum. No, they did not. Y Le Parfum is still the one. In my opinion, if you're going to get one, get Y Le Parfum. Sample first, goes with all of these, goes with everything I talk about when sampling is available to you. Always do that to make sure because you may not feel the way I feel, but that's the way I feel with Y Elixir. Okay, now then, some of you are going to get very upset because some of you like to get upset over trivial things that aren't that serious. It is what it is. Sorry if you get offended for that. But I got a lot of flack for liking this fragrance. And that's a bunch of bullshit. I'm not going to criticize you for liking something I don't think is a good fragrance. So that's just weird to me. But Sauvage Eau Forte, or Eau Forte, however you'd like to say it. Yes, it's milky, it's creamy, you got to shake it and all that good stuff. It's water-based, which I don't like that it's water-based. I agree. It would project a bit more if it had that alcohol to really open it up and brighten things up. It is a parfum. I get great longevity. I get every bit of 8 or 9 hours on my skin. So, and when I say things like that and others are like, I get 3, I get called a liar, which is a bunch of bullshit. Y'all need to stop projecting your insecurities on other people. Your experience and someone else's experience is going to be different in fragrance. Because I say I get one thing and you get another doesn't make me a liar or you a liar. We just have different experiences. Stop that. Any of you watching this, stop that. That's ridiculous. But the profile, I could see where it's polarizing. It's a little coniferous, pine cone-like smell as it dries. The star anise elemi combo can be a little strange. I get kind of like this spiced licorice pine cone kind of thing with musk in the dry down. In the opening, bright, fresh, musky, and peppered spice. I like it. From the moment I smelled it, I liked it. I don't think it's one of the best releases of the year. Is it what I expected? No. I was expecting a kind of fresh twist or something like that. I don't know. But the way I look at this one is if you strip away the sweetness and the ambroxan from the eau de parfum, I feel like it's pretty similar to what you get here. I feel like it would be. And of course, you got to make it water-based, take away the perfumer's alcohol. Again, not a big fan of how they went that route. They still have Dior's beautiful atomizer. It will glob up white a little bit on your skin. The whole meme and the joke everybody's been rolling with. It goes away after like a minute. It turns into just perfume oil. But I like the way it smells. I just do. Now, let's get to the gripes. People complain. The main complaint, besides them saying the performance they get, which, again, I'm not going to call you a liar. If you tell me it's 30 minutes, I think that's ridiculous, and I don't believe it, but I'm not going to call you a liar, because if it's 30 minutes for you, it's 30 minutes for you. That's a nose sensitivity thing. That's not even a skin chemistry thing. That's the receptors in your nose. I'm telling you, if you legitimately can only smell it for 30 minutes, for real, and you're not exaggerating on the internet like most people do, it's your receptors and you're going nose blind. It's not a 30-minute fragrance. For a human on the planet, it's not 30 minutes. It's not. I'm telling you, it's not my opinion. It's not. It's your nose's sensitivity. But it's the price versus performance. And my argument to that is who put the pistol at your temple and said you have to buy this? Who got wild and blind bought it? I did because it's my thing. It's what I do. I blind buy so you don't have to. I like the thrill of doing that shit. But I know it's risky business, and I can't get mad at anyone but myself if I blind buy something and I don't like it because I didn't sample first. So, the biggest complaint's been the price. I didn't see near the complaints of this because they costed the same. This is a letdown in its profile of what it was saying it was going to deliver, but it performs. So it can smell lesser than, but as long as it performs, it's okay. But people still complain about the price for this, which I do as well. And I also think this is too expensive. $180, crazy. Both of these, crazy talk. It's too expensive. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you guys on that. My argument is the visceral reaction and the just abundance and hatefulness towards this fragrance and anyone that seems to like it. So my question, and if you say if you're just a rude prick in my comments, hide user from channel. I'll never see you again. If you want to have a legitimate conversation, we can. Your delivery is going to be how I respond. Are you hating on it to hate on it because it's cool to hate on it and be part of the cool kid club of the tribalism that is going place to place to hate on a fragrance? Or does it just pull the passion out of you? Like, oh my God, Francis Kirkjohn makes my blood boil. I can't believe him and Dior would dare to do this. Okay. On top of that, I again say, who put the pistol to your head? And after you sampled it, you know, the responsible thing to do that I did not do, and you decided you didn't like it, who forced you to buy it? Nobody. You didn't buy it, right? If you didn't like it, you didn't buy it. Logic, right? So, with that said, follow-up question. You didn't like it. You sampled it and you didn't like it. You did the right thing. You didn't buy it. That's what you're supposed to do. If you don't like it, why would you buy it? You then go place to place to bitch about it. Why? It changes nothing. Why? Oh, it's part of being on the community. No, it's not. Being a hateful prick on the internet is not part of being part of a community. That's just being a hateful prick. So I have to ask. Like I said, some people are going to get offended with this segment because I really was curious because I've never seen anything like this. Like, even with us content creators and YouTubers when we make fragrances, I haven't seen this kind of ridiculousness. Because people like to hate. People are haters. It's just what most of society is. Most of society is, just vat of haters, basically. This thing gets so much hate. Now, I know it's not all of you. Some of you are watching this and you're like, wow, I like it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not talking to you. I agree. It's solid. I like it. I disagree that they should have priced it this way. I don't like the fact that it's water-based. Like some of the complaints that the naysayers have, I have. But the profile suits my taste, and the longevity really falls into my wheelhouse of what I would like to see from fragrances like this. But the just abundance of over-the-top exaggeration of how bad the fragrance is and the need and want to spread that like wildfire across the internet is what I don't understand. If everybody wants to rate this as the worst release of the year, the worst release of all time, I'm good with that. Everybody's right to their opinions just as I am. But to go out of your way to act like Dior is going to like pull it and send out a public apology letter when there's people that do enjoy it, and the contradiction of wanting something different, getting a new perfumer, a well-versed perfumer in the art form in Francis Kirkjohn, to step out on a limb and do something different. And when the something different comes out, it gets crucified. It's contradictory to what people say they want. You give people what they want, even though it may not be the expectation that they have in wanting something different. And when it's not exactly what they want, it gets wild out here in these internet streets. You know what I mean? I've never seen anything like it. This might be a little bit controversial because I'm just like calling a spade here for what I see, because this is the long-winded portion of the video, but I think it's wild, the toxicity that has surrounded this on the internet. And again, it's not everyone, but it's stuff I've seen on my end. I'm not going out looking at all the forums and everything. It's just stuff that's come to my platforms that I have seen, and it's in abundance about the overwhelming hatred for this profile and just flat out that it exists in the first place. So again, it goes back to, if you're doing the right things, you sampled it, you didn't like it, you didn't buy it, why has it become a hobby to go run around hating on it? You just didn't like it. Move on. Don't let the trivial things consume you, is the moral of this story. And with that said, I think it's a pretty damn good fragrance. It's overpriced. I don't like that it's water-based, but it smells good and it lasts a long time on me. And it's a little different for the Sauvage line. So, aside from the price and being water-based, I can only give a 1, 2, 3. I can't keep going on the soft internet, you know, don't want to be loud in the mic clap, because I like that they tried something different. I commend Dior and Francis Kirkjohn for doing so. But let's come back to reality on the price here, guys. Too much. I understand the cost of goods have gone up worldwide across the board in every segment. Y'all still making money hand over fist. This fragrance is not worth $180. The $125, $119 I think I paid for the 60 ml. I was fine with that. If your retail would have been around $140, $150, I don't think people would have complained as much, but I think they still would have complained. So the most polarizing release I think I've ever seen in men's fragrance, especially as far as designers are concerned, Dior Sauvage Eau Forte. That was kind of long-winded, wasn't it? Some of you got your little feelings hurt, didn't you? That's weird. You shouldn't. It's just a conversation. So don't get upset. Don't get mad at me. Take it with a grain of salt. It's all my opinion and my observation. I agree with some of the complaints. I disagree with other complaints. It's all just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this video in some form or fashion. Those of you that watched it the whole way through, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications before you leave the video. Catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one.